Hi darlings, today I'm back to do another review. Today's review is going to be on NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat Liquid Foundation here. And I got it from London Drugs for about $10 and I'm in the shade Nude if you're curious. And on the NYX website here, it has 20 different shade selections in this foundation. So that's a pretty good selection. I'm pretty sure you can find your shade since it's 20 different shades. And it says here, Stay Matte But Not Flat Liquid Foundation provides full coverage of mineral-enriched matte finish. The oil-free and water-based formula is perfect for the studio or all day long. So that's pretty much it on this foundation. This is what the packaging looks like here. It comes in this 1.18 fluid ounces, which is 35 mils, in this squeeze out tube here, and the packaging is pretty much like a matte packaging. Even the cap, it kind of reminds me of like the NARS packaging or even the e.l.f. blushes packaging. So that's what it looks like. And then you just twist off the cap and then there's the liquid foundation there. And I love this because it gives you control of how much to squeeze out and everything. And yeah, that's pretty much it on this foundation. It's oil-free, water-based, full coverage, mineral-enriched, and matte finish. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I am going to show you guys a demo of how I put it on so you guys can see how this liquid foundation works. So I'm going to go ahead and apply my NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat foundation here. I'm in the shade Nude, and I usually don't put a primer first or anything. I just straight up use this foundation. So I'm just going to go ahead and squeeze a little bit on my hands here, like so. And as you guys can tell, the texture is very, just quite thick and not very runny at all, but once I like kind of mush it and then dot it on my face, it gets kind of liquidy and it feels like a water texture. So just swirl it around on my hands first. And this is pretty much enough for about 2 to 3 layers on my face, so you don't need that much. So I just dot it all over my face. My face right now has like pimples. I also have redness around my nose, this honking kind of mosquito bite on the side there, and I have hyperpigmentation as well. So today is a good day for me to apply this foundation for you guys so you guys can see how well it works. So once I finish dotting the foundation on my face here, I'm going in with my Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, and I love this brush for liquid foundation, and I just start kind of near the center of my face and just buff out the foundation. And the foundation feels very like lightweight. It doesn't feel heavy at all, and it kind of feels very like water once I kind of buff it out, and it leaves like this cool feeling on my face. So this is what my skin looks like with just one layer of foundation on. It blended really nicely into my skin, and on the bottle here it says full coverage with one layer. It's still not full coverage right now. It's probably a light to medium coverage. I still see some of my red pimples popping out, but the lighter red pimples kind of got covered. But I think I need 2 layers for my face to be fully covered, so I'm going to apply one more layer on right now. But my skin feels very lightweight on my skin. It feels very breathable, doesn't feel heavy at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply another coat to my face. So I added another layer. So basically I have 3 layers of foundation on my face right now, because with just 2 layers I still felt like my skin could have been more even. So I added another layer on, and now my skin looks quite even, but there's just a few like really red pimples, just a little bit popping out. It's not completely like full coverage or anything. I think if I added like a 4th layer, I think I might start to look cakey or something. I feel like I'll start to look cakey, so I just left it at that. I can just cover it with concealer. But other than that, it kind of evened out my skin tone. It covered my redness around my nose, covered my hyperpigmentation, and some of like my light red pimples. It covered all of that really good. Just here and there starting to it didn't really cover much, but I wouldn't say this is like a full coverage foundation. I would say probably a medium coverage. And then what else? It didn't settle into my lines at all, and it went on really nicely. It blended very well, and it just looks very smooth and everything. And also my face doesn't feel kind of caked on with foundation. It just feels nice and lightweight. And you guys know, if you guys have been following me for a while, that I love my Bare Minerals foundation. It just feels very lightweight on my skin, and this is pretty much comparable to it. Even though I have 3 layers on, I feel very like my skin can breathe, so that's good. And then it feels very kind of not very sticky at all. It just feels very natural and light. And with the finish, it says stay matte but not flat, and that is very true, because if you look up close, my skin, like some parts it looks like matte, but it also has this kind of natural glow to it, so I don't look so like flat. Stay matte but not flat. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This is like the perfect name for it, because it's like matte but not flat. It has, like, if you can see, if I kind of go towards the light, it has like this nice natural glow to it. So that's pretty much what I think of this foundation. And then afterwards, I definitely set my face with my Bare Minerals Mineral Veil, which is like a setting powder, because if you don't with this foundation, I find that throughout the day you will look very shiny and oily if you do not put a setting powder on. So if you are like kind of oily skin already, then definitely put a setting powder, because I'm combination skin, so I get very oily around my T-zone, so I definitely need a setting powder throughout the day. It does help a lot with this foundation. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply my setting powder, and I just pat it in so I don't disturb the foundation at all. So I've been wearing this NYX foundation for about a week now, so I've been testing it out every single day, and I've got a pretty clear idea of what this foundation does for me. As you guys can tell in the demo, it went on very, very nicely. It blended really nicely with the brush, and it just felt very lightweight on my skin. It didn't feel heavy at all. And on the bottle here, it says it's full coverage, which is true if you kind of build the layers up. I would say about 4 to 5 layers would get you full coverage, but with 1 layer definitely is not full coverage. It's probably a light to medium coverage if you do 1 layer. But overall, I would say this is a medium coverage finish for this foundation. So yeah, it went on as a medium coverage, and it just feels very lightweight on my skin, and overall it covered quite well the redness on my nose, the discoloration on my cheeks, and just like the few like big pimples I had with the redness, it didn't cover as well, but just a little concealer will do. But underneath my eyes, it definitely evened out my skin tone very nicely. And with creasing wise, the only thing I noticed during the day is it creased a little bit on my laugh lines and just a little bit on my eyelids, and that is pretty much it. But overall, it didn't crease underneath my eyes or anything, and that was good. And this name for this foundation, Stay Matte But Not Flat, is very true. It has like a matte finish, but it's not like a true matte finish. It has kind of, it gives you like this nice natural glow, so it looks very natural, and I just love how lightweight it looks on my skin. Now, saying that, I wore it throughout the whole day. This foundation is definitely not a long-lasting foundation at all. It does not stay on all day long. For me, if I didn't use powder, my face would get really, really oily around my T-zone area and around my cheeks. It just looks like I'm glowing, and it's very, very oily. But if I did use a powder, then this foundation would last me about 5 hours, I would say. And if I'm wearing it longer than that, then I start to see the oil come out, and also I start to see the redness of my pimples popping out even more. So it's definitely not a full coverage foundation. This foundation would be good if I am just running out for weekend errands or something and I just want something really quick and easy that's not completely full coverage and very natural looking, but it's definitely not a long wearing foundation where I would wear it to, if let's say I have like work in the morning and then I have to go out at night, then I definitely would not choose this foundation because by the end of the day my face looked very oily and my redness was starting to pop out and everything. So I definitely do not recommend this foundation if you're looking for a long wearing foundation, but this is really good for like a natural out the door kind of foundation. If you're gonna go out for about 4 to 5 hours, then this would be really good. And if you have like oily skin, maybe skip on this foundation because it did leave my skin quite oily afterwards if I didn't use powder. But if you like powder your face if you have oily skin, then I think it shouldn't be a problem. But if you have oily skin and you don't use powder, then this will be your worst nightmare. So with this foundation, definitely powder your face up afterwards and you should be fine. So that is pretty much my thoughts on this foundation. If you guys tried it, definitely let me know what you think, or if I left anything out, leave me a comment down below as well. And that is pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this review on NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat foundation. I was very intrigued with this when I went to the drugstore, so I had to pick it up, and I would repurchase this foundation if I run out, if I'm just like running out the door, like I said, for errands and stuff. But overall it's not like a wow foundation for me or anything. It's just a not bad foundation. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys on my next one. Bye!